Everybody else feels the same? Good. Okay, cool. All right, design.
Design.
We have
Ooh,
time
the
to
fun
jump into
side.
design.
Yay. Hold on. I'm checking up on some things. I still have the Flutter website up.
Oh yeah.
And under one of their menu options, it's multi-platform menu options. They have mobile, Flutter on mobile, and then immediately under that they have Flutter on iOS. And I'm like, it's sad that you have to call that out specifically.
Flutter on iOS.
It's funny because I'm actually kind of there's a side project that I'm thinking about messing around with uh for my dyeing stuff. Mainly, so dyeing. There's a lot of math involved and a lot of record
Mm,
keeping involved, and I'm considering
mhm.
building an app around that. And I was trying to decide whether or not like what the best route would be, and like my gut reaction is oh dear, a web app, because then it's available in a lot of different places, and you
I
can
almost always try to sell my clients on a web app first,
yeah
even though
um
I make a lot more money with mobile apps.
yes.
I think it's hard to get people to install a desktop app in the beginning.
Hmm.
So you need to have something to drive them there, right? You got to get some kind of audience. You got to get some kind of buy-in. So, and if you're not an established company, super hard to get that buy-in without a good web presence.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. um but anyway, so I've been thinking about that, but I don't want to, like, I really don't want to spend a ton of time trying to figure out JavaScript. Although I probably should. So I was
You
trying to
don't have so
so
much
I'm
fun with Node and React.
is Node still, well, Node's on back end
Node's
mainly,
back
right?
end. Yep.
Yeah. um
React is easy.
React, it seems easy, but I was sitting trying to decide it, and I'm like, you know what, Kotlin multi-platform is an option, and then um, just like writing it and building it out. WASM.
So what's the difference between Kotlin multi-platform and Flutter at this point?
Hold on.
No, let's
Oh,
leave that discussion for later.
just the language. That's the main thing.
So
Um,
function now it's about the same.
so yeah, functionally, well, no, functionally, Kotlin multi-platform can do quite a bit more than Flutter,
Ooh, has it grown up?
because yeah, because Kotlin multi-platform, one of the biggest things that it can do that Flutter cannot is it can work on on the server.
Mm-hmm.
So you can create a lot of things with it
Oh,
that you would not normally have made. So the
cool.
problem, though, I have with Kotlin multi-platform is that it's it's going to be a lot like a lot of the other things. Is it's going to transcompiles for
Mm-hmm.
iOS. So that's the main issue.
Okay.
Kotlin Kotlin WASM, WASM, WASM.
Kotlin Wasm.
I have no idea what that is. It looks brand new to me
Oh,
because it's currently Kotlin WASM is alpha. It may be changed at any time. You can
yeah.
use it
Well,
in scenarios before
have fun.
production.
Good luck.
Oh
We
my
don't know
gosh,
what's going to happen next week, dude.
WASM. What is WASM? WebAssembly. Oh, WASM WebAssembly. Okay.
Okay, making sense.
WebAssembly is a binary instruction format for a stack-based virtual machine. This format is platform independent because it runs on its own virtual machine. WASM provides Kotlin and oh my gosh. But it's got a better performance than JavaScript.
Huh. Well, there it is. Go with that.
I don't know. Kotlin for JavaScript. What's the I'm trying to think about this for a second. Hold on.
Yeah, take your time. I'm curious where you're going to go.
What's the current best UI for JavaScript? Like, what is the thing that everybody really enjoys?
Oh, as far as like React, or
Well,
what do you mean?
React is really good for web apps in general. Okay.
Hmm.
But a lot of people that I talk to, they tend to pull in a lot more things like Tailwind, for example, uh,
Hmm.
for the UI work.
Okay,
Um,
so yeah, there's that. Uh, you know, that's a good question. There's, as far as building it and structuring it, Tailwind is a popular one.
yep.
Uh, Gridbox is another. Um, any of the popular ones I think are cool. I don't really pay attention.
Yeah. Hmm. I
You got
don't
to
know.
keep in mind, like these technologies. What are they like? I mean, they're old. They're mature now.
Well, React is definitely very mature.
Yeah.
Tailwind is relatively new. So anyway,
Okay.
it's just all like very quick. Like I said, I'm trying to decide on if I really want to like devote any sort of time to a
Mhm.
side project for something.
So for those listening, Tailwind is essentially a CSS gridding system that helps you build websites fairly quickly. It's not gonna. It's so it's structural. It's not like it's functional.
Yep. Which I think in this scenario, grading is probably the better. But anyway, whatever. Ooh, what about next?
Yeah. So a lot of people use React and Next. Or some people just use Next, and some people just use Vue, Vue, still
Yeah, Vue.js.
VUE. Yep, yep. Uh, I tend to my shop tends to settle around React and Next.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they play well together, I think.
Uh huh.
And though people like to do a versus, but yeah,
Yeah.
verse it all you want.
All right. Anyway, design. So we are talking about design,
Yeah.
but design in more in the sense of the business models and stuff.
Yep. So we're still designing our business model. We're not designing a business, well, app, right? You're not talking about app design. And here's the quote, right? I really love this quote.
Go for it.
And it says, business people don't just need to understand designers better, they need to become designers.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite quotes in the book, because
Mm,
this is how I look at business, how I look at programming, how I
mm.
look at everything. And if I had to narrow it down to one step deeper into it, I say the design philosophy is one of curiosity and open-mindedness.
Yes. Yep.
So by questioning the obvious, by seeing how each thing is going to affect the rest, having that, like, okay, if this then that's curiosity,
Yep.
you're going to come up to with a better solution.
Yep.
And for me, this mindset is very helpful for everything you do, and it kind of puts you into the mind of an artist rather than the mind of a executor, which
Yeah.
everything has its place, right? There's times I don't want people asking, why are we doing this, right? I just want you to go and do it because I said so. But there's definitely times when it's helpful to ask.
And it's also different from the engineering mindset because engineering mindset is one of solving problems and wants to
Yeah,
solve
it's a
problems.
rigorous approach in general.
Yep. Um, and don't get me wrong, there is an aspect of problem solving within design, but design tends to be more. I guess I would say the why, like trying to understand the why behind things,
Hmm.
whereas engineering is more building out the what.
Cool.
that's kind of what it feels like to me. Maybe there's a better way to say it. Um, but yeah.
There's different consequences and
Mm-hmm.
different results, right? So engineers need to make sure stuff is safe. They got to follow the procedure, make sure it's legal, right?
Yep.
There's all this. The design process for the business, you have to start off with more creativity to look at the problem from different perspectives. Then you can go into the engineering approach of, the, will the laws allow it? Will the culture allow it? Testing it out,
Mm-hmm.
but start, you know, and of course, different companies are going to say, no, we are developed, mature companies. We don't need to go into the existential BS of is reality reality. We need to
Mm-hmm.
know how many toothpicks will be needed to hold up this truck.
Yep.
In which case, I push back. I'm like, why a truck in the first place?
uh, you're. Yep. 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 Oh man. So design's important, and I think a lot of times we kind of set it off to the side. Um,
So
in a
easy
lot of
to.
things.
Well, it takes effort,
Yeah.
and it takes effort, energy. It takes a discipline to get through it, and it's not easy. And there's a lot of conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if you're scared of conflict, I'm sorry, right? Call psychologist.
Okay.
And
Go
it's
get
after
yourself in
that,
therapy.
go get a job. So design, customer insights, ideation, visual
Mhm.
thinking, prototyping, storytelling, and scenarios. If that doesn't excite you right there, this book was not for you.
Yeah. The more it's funny, the more I do business or the more I work with business, the more I think, excuse me, and the more it becomes apparent that business is storytelling.
Hmm.
Mm, That's, or at least at the core, that's what it is, or what business is.
Storytelling is the art of making a relatable message
Hmm.
in a somewhat interesting way.
Somewhat interesting.
Hopefully very interesting, right? But you can get really far with a fairly dull story, right? It's hard to get anywhere without any kind of story.
It is true, but I was just kind of, it's kind of funny to me that you were like, oh, what you're just saying. Oh, but you're not wrong.
Right? Empathy mind map. Come on, talk about it.
Yeah, so that's the fun thing. So here's a big question. All right, so all right, what does a business do? Like, what is the obvious answer behind a business?
It
And
works.
it makes money. Like that's the obvious answer for that everybody's going to give with business and everything. And it's like, okay, well, you're not wrong in saying that, because a business that doesn't make money is just a nonprofit, and a nonprofit that doesn't break even is dead. So and it's the same for businesses. um but it's like it it's such a surface level view of businesses, and it's also such a very immature view of a business, that you sit there and you think, oh, the only perfect purpose of a business is to make a profit. And the truth of the matter is, no. It's A business is there to serve its customers, because if a business does not serve its customers, it's not going to live. It's not going to do anything. Um,
Ouch.
what?
Ouch. The
Yeah,
pain.
yeah,
The pain.
exactly. There should be pain. Everybody should be feeling pain.
It's hurting.
So how do you serve your customer? Like, what is the best way to do that? And the best way to do that is to, hey, get to know your customer. What a concept.
Sounds very touchy feely.
Don't you like touchy feely?
Oh,
Isn't
no,
the new era
I'm
of
I'm not in the
Phil?
priesthood.
You're not.
No, I'm
What?
not. I'm outside
Oh,
the priesthood. This whole touchy feely thing is way outside my realm of understanding.
uh-huh. Sure, 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 sure. Oh man. So with that, we create what they call an empathy map. Um, there's a lot of different phrases and a lot of different terms for this. The basic gist of it is it's getting to know who your customer is. Um, and if you don't do this ahead of time, you're going to put your product out there and you're going to serve somebody. But a lot of times when that happens, you aren't serving the person that you want to serve. You're going to get people who are terrible.
In the scope of this conversation for business models, it's a customer segment. So it's not exactly an avatar.
Yep.
What we understand as a classic strong avatar. It's really a segment avatar. So it's a little bit more broad.
Yes. Yep. Um, I'm looking at their page. This is a great page to have from the book, and I'm laughing because they're sitting there saying, "What does she?" all over the place. And I think the first step that you need to take with this before you even get into the empathy map is to ask, are you like what segment of the population are you serving it? Are you serving mostly men? Are you serving mostly females?
Obviously, this
Or
book was written for women.
yeah. Or because it's today's day and age, are you serving them? The non-binary them.
Right.
And I'm gonna
Would it
be
serve as it?
yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's kind of one of those things like you need to sit there and you need to start at the very high level. You're not going to serve the whole human population. That's just not going to happen. And it can't happen. But you're also not going to like so you got to kind of start segmenting down and be like, okay, well, am I serving a what specific sex or gender am I specifically serving and everything? And so you start going down that path. In this case, they choose women. They're whatever it is. So some of the things like they start asking is it's like, okay, well, what does your customer see? What does she see? What's going on in her environment? And in a lot of ways, like this could be, okay, what is the environment that your customer is in that they're using your product? Are they at home? Are they in the kitchen? Are they in their living room? Are they at work? Are they in a hospital? Like what's going on? What's the environment there?
It it gives some good example questions to
Yep.
ask, and what I appreciate that about that, I'm going to kind of go through a few of these quick. I'm just going to skip every other one of them,
Okay.
so I don't
That
want
works.
anybody to think I'm being thorough.
We're
I'm
not.
they're not thorough. Phil's not being thorough today, just for the sake of expediency. So there's four quadrants, right? And
Yep.
they all kind of fit into somehow they also overlap on the model itself, right?
Yeah.
But so if you start from the top and go clockwise, it's like the head. What do they think? What do they feel,
Yeah.
right? And the next one is what do they see? Their environment, friends, and what the market offers. So
Yep.
you know what they can kind of like touch also. What do they what did she say and do? What's the attitude in public, appearance, behavior towards others, and I think also in home?
Yep.
And what does she hear? What her friends say, what bosses say, what
Yep.
influencers say,
Yep.
um, and then there's just it goes into the gains, which is what they need and
What?
how they measure
Yep.
success, and the pains, which are their fears, frustrations, and obstacles, which kind of summarize like the inside the head stuff.
Yep.
So uh, the reason they set this map up in a certain way, and I think it kind of reflects kind of forcing it into the business model, which is
Yep.
cute. Uh, but when you read the section, you probably visualize it yourself a little differently because there's stuff in the head and then hearing and feeling and the how the world pushes back on them.